Gela, welcome to my YouTube channel. So, I want us to talk about the five I choose. That is our episode 3 now. I want us to talk about the five I choose. Who are they? In this episode, we examine the five men standing trial for the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. We look at who they are, what the prosecution alleges against them, how each has responded to those allegations, and why this remains South Africa's most closely watched criminal trials. Also, all five I choose have pleaded not guilty. At the time of this discussion, the court has not yet delivered a final verdict. The allegations discussed are those presented in court and should not be treated as established facts. All right. Who are the five I choose? The I choose are number one, Muzawukhulelwa Muzi Sithemba Sibiya. This is the man that was arrested in Tembisa. And he was just sitting there minding his own business on the 30, was it the 31st of May 2020? Yes, he was there. They took him, did the things that he alleges they did to him, beat him up, and forced him to make a confession. And I choose number two, Bongani Ntanzi. Bongani Ntanzi was arrested in Rustenburg. And he was in his rented home. He was a mine worker somewhere in Rustenburg. And he had challenges when he got arrested. It was COVID, and he was working few hours at work, etc., etc. And this one, okay, when it comes to I choose number one, he had a pending case, of allegedly shooting someone. So when it comes to that case, apparently he has been sentenced 12 years. And then when he got arrested for the Senzo Meyiwa case now, they claimed that they found him with the white powder, and that white powder resulted in him also being found guilty and sentenced another 12 years, which those sentences are doing a concurrent, moving together kind of vibes. He's serving them concurrently. And that was, when was he? I think it was 2021, if not 2022 or 2023. I don't remember. 2023 when he was sentenced for the case of the Senzo Meyiwa case. Yes, I think so. I'm not sure. No, sorry, not the Senzo Meyiwa case, for the white powder situation. I don't know when it comes to the other case when he was sentenced. I honestly don't know what's up with that. And then I choose number three. Sorry, I choose number two. Bongani Ntanzi has no pending cases, nothing in his name except for the so-called Nongoma case, which Gininda and Tim said he was involved in. And then when the IO of the Nongoma case came to court, said, nope, he is not involved. He is not one of the people. Even the guy that was arrested on Nongoma case 163 says, no, I don't even know the guy. So we don't know what is this about, but all we see is that he's being framed. He was framed then, he's been framed for this one. There's a lot of things going on. And then I choose number three, Mthobisi Mncube. Mthobisi Prince Mncube was arrested 2015 for a different matter. Apparently, the firearm that he was arrested with is the one that the investigation team is using as the firearm that was used to shoot Senzo Meyiwa, of which the people that were inside the house saw a firearm that had a wheel, meaning it was a revolver, but the prosecution and the police that the police that are involved in the arrest of Mncube are saying actually it was a 9mm. So we don't know what the court will decide. And then so he's serving. When he got arrested, he was already in jail serving for another matter. That is not this one, for that firearm. Okay. And then I choose number four, was also in jail serving for another matter. It's not even clear what it was when it comes to that one. It's another guys kind of vibe situation. But when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa case, there's not much that is being said about him. When it comes to the case, I don't even know how and why he formed part of the Senzo Meyiwa case. It's not quite clear. I choose number five. I choose number five, is alleged to be someone that is well known in KZN when it comes to serious crimes. And then when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa, it looks like he's being framed because the police and the prosecution said that he is the coordinator between the accused and Kelly Khumalo, and Vodacom came and cleared him of that. So it looks like he's being framed because of his past when it comes to this one. But time will tell. And then the state alleges that the 5 men formed part of a group involved in the event that led to Senzo Meyiwa's death on the 26th of October 2014. According to the prosecution, the incident was not simply a random home invasion, but involved coordinated criminal conduct. However, throughout the trial, the defense has strongly disputed this version. The state case, the prosecution has relied on several categories of evidence, including alleged confession evidence, cell phone records, witness testimony, police investigation findings, ballistic evidence, identification evidence. The state argues that taken together, this evidence proves the accused acted together in the commission of the offenses. All right. The defense's position, all 5 accused deny involvement. Their legal teams argue that there is no reliable eyewitness identification. Important witnesses contradicted one another, which is eyewitnesses. Parts of the investigation were flawed. Some statements were obtained unlawfully. Certain evidence should not be relied upon. Several defense teams also argued that the police investigation focused on securing convictions rather than objectively investigating every possible lead. That leads us to them not investigating when it comes to the second docket. All right. Now, individual defenses, although united in pleading not guilty, each accused presented different arguments. Some challenged cell phone evidence, confession evidence, witness credibility, investigation procedures, alleged assault and torture during police questioning. This resulted in different legal strategies being used by each defense advocate. And the highlights of the trial featured several major developments, lengthy dispute over admissibility of evidence, extensive cross-examination of police officers, arguments about alleged confessions, forensic evidence debates, cell phone data analysis, witness credibility challenges, disagreements regarding the original investigation. These issues have shaped the public perception of the case. And this trial has highlighted several important legal principles. Presumption of innocence. Every accused is presumed innocent unless proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. The burden of proof remains entirely on the prosecution. Proof beyond reasonable doubt situation, the court must determine whether all evidence viewed as a whole establishes guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Even if some evidence raises suspicion, the legal question is whether the prosecution has met this high standard. Okay? Admissibility of evidence, the court has had to consider whether statements were obtained lawfully, whether confessions obtained is admissible, whether police procedures compiled with legal complied, yes, with whether police procedures that were complied with legal requirements. These rulings affect what evidence can ultimately be considered. Credibility of witnesses, the trial has also underscored the importance of assessing consistency, reliability, corroboration, possible contradictions, the overall credibility of witnesses. The court must evaluate all testimony carefully before assigning weight to it. And then there's us, the public reaction. Few criminal trials have generated as much public discussion in South Africa. Public reaction has included support for the state. Some believe the prosecution has assembled sufficient evidence and expect convictions. Support for the defense. Others argue that the investigation contains significant weaknesses and that the prosecution has not eliminated reasonable doubt. And then there's also frustrations over delays. Most of South Africans have expressed concern, repeated postponements, the length of the trial, the emotional toll on Senzo Meyiwa's family, the broader impact on confidence in the criminal justice system. And then there is also ongoing debates. The case continues to spark discussions about police standards, investigative practices, witness reliability, fairness of criminal trials, accountability within the justice system. And Yabana, when it comes to the ongoing debates, well, they keep growing because we are also watching the Madlanga Commission, and Madlanga Commission is making things question everything that has police in between. Okay, their investigation methods. We've heard and learned a lot of things from the Madlanga Commission. So we are at liberty to not trust anything that is not proven beyond reasonable doubt when police are concerned. Now, what I can also encourage you is to please engage respectfully. Please, 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 because I want to understand, number one, do you believe the prosecution has presented enough evidence to meet the legal standard of proof beyond reasonable doubt when it comes to against the accused on the Senzo Meyiwa trial? Secondly, with aspects of the trial, which aspect of the trial has most influenced your view of the case as someone who watches the Senzo Meyiwa case? Thirdly, how important witness credibility and inconsistency in a trial like this, in your view, as someone that watches the case? Fourth, what lessons should law enforcement take from this investigation, regardless of final outcome? Number five, has this trial increased or reduced your confidence in South Africa's criminal justice system? Why? If it has reduced or it has increased, why are you saying that? So those are the things that I would like us to have a meaningful discussion with comment section. As this trial progresses, as the trial has progressed, it has become more clear that this case is about more than identifying those responsible for Senzo Meyiwa's death. It has also prompted broader questions about police investigations, the handling of evidence, the safeguards that ensure criminal trials are fair. The court's role is to assess all admissible evidence against the legal standard of proof beyond reasonable doubt. Until judgment is delivered, the allegations remain contested, and all five accused continue to enjoy the presumption of innocence under South African law. I will see you on our next video. Please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.